I also had to realize that I was always waiting for somebody. So I just said, okay, fuck you word, I will travel alone. That's how I made the decision that I will travel alone. I made some backpacker trips alone, and then I realized, hey, this is really awesome because, I don't know, it's like more intense. You have to make all the decisions by yourself, so, and you are responsible for everything alone. There's nobody who could help you or support you, and this is a really good thing, and you have so much time for yourself. So hi, my name is Deti and I'm from Hungary, ST, and I started end of February a solo bike trip.
Did you start in Hungary or start somewhere else?
I started in Hungary, but because of the tough, rough winter, I took trains and buses to Istanbul. And then mid of March I started in Istanbul cycling.
How about you, Taylor? Where are you from? How long you've been on the road? And how do you travel? Just to briefly dig into that later.
I'm from the US, from Iowa originally, but I've been on the road for the majority of the last 4 years. And in the beginning I was traveling almost exclusively by hitchhiking. As I've progressed, I've kind of gone on to a few different methods of travel. Now this summer I've been traveling by bicycle for the last few months with Deti, and we've also hitchhiked a little bit, taken a few trains, but and now we're going to Russia and we'll be driving in a car.
Yeah. Well,
my family doesn't know it.
Spoiler alert. Well,
yeah.
What did you do before you started to travel that helped you to save up X amount?
So I studied civil engineering, and I worked in this field, and I moved almost 3 years ago to Germany.
How does it work out for you?
I've been working on the road. Most of the money that I've spent while traveling I made during traveling. So in the beginning I had saved some money from before, and then I spent it all. Then I found a job as a ski instructor for the winter, and I worked a bit, and then I travel quite cheaply, so I don't need to save very much to travel for a few months.
All right.
I did some seasonal work in Oregon and California, and now for the last 3 seasons I've worked as a ski instructor, and last year I started my own ski school, and this year we'll continue to manage that. So this was just an opportunity that came about because I had been hitchhiking and traveling around Georgia.
So actually you started your own ski school?
Yeah.
In Georgia?
Yeah.
As a US citizen, so how did that happen? How did you come up with the idea of, hey, it's a good deal, but what if I take it to the next level and start my own gig in a completely different continent, actually, not even in the Americas?
Well, it started in the beginning that I was just traveling in Europe, and I really wanted to ski for the winter, and I needed some kind of job so I could pay for it. And I found a job as a ski instructor because they needed someone who speaks English. And then, it quickly developed to where I realized I could work freelance pretty easily there. Okay. And then I started getting more requests for ski lessons than I could handle myself. So I started calling some friends and, hey, can you do a lesson for me? Can you do a lesson?
Wow.
And that just kind of naturally developed into a business.
How long do you think that you can do this live? This go. That's a question you're asking as well. First you go, Taylor, that you do the ski season in Georgia or anywhere in a fixed place, and no, it's cool. And then just travel for the rest of the year. Is it a lifestyle that's sustainable for you, or
I think I could, and anybody could do it forever. I don't necessarily want to.
Okay.
It's more of a question of how much am I comfortable in wanting to do this. I mean, if I have kids and a family, this is a much more difficult lifestyle to do than me now being 26 and having complete freedom.
You both guys mentioned that you don't really spend too much on the road. Like, what's an average budget for you guys?
I would say 10 euros per day in average.
All right.
Yeah, that's
in
pretty
line.
average.
Alright.
It depends. Like in the beginning, when I started traveling, my budget was much less, maybe like
was?
3 to 4 euros per day. But also at that point, I was hitchhiking everywhere. I think you can spend a lot less money when you're hitchhiking than you do when cycling.
Right. Because people will
You
hook
eat
you up with
definitely
food.
more.
What?
You eat definitely more when you cycle.
Yeah. When you're cycling, you eat a lot more food, which you normally have to pay for yourself, because when you're hitchhiking, really often people invite you
Yeah.
for food.
True, that's true.
And yeah, I mean, sleeping you can do for free anyways if you're comfortable sleeping in a tent most of the time.
Yeah.
But also this depends on where you are in the world. Like in some places in Europe, couch surfing is pretty easy generally, but in Central Asia, it's a lot harder to find someone on couch surfing. But also hospitality is really good in Central Asia. So when you hitchhike a lot, especially if you speak the language, you get invited to people's houses quite
You
often.
get to sleep over there.
Whereas cycling, you meet more people, but you don't have such an intimate connection with any of them, because usually it's just "Akuda, what are you doing here? Where are you from? Where are your kids and your wife?"
Are you married? Yeah.
Whereas with hitchhiking, you have 2 hours in the car to get to know each other on a much deeper level, and at that point, the driver is often more comfortable inviting you to their house.
Right. That's it. Why did you start to travel? And why did you start to travel, and why start to travel with a bike?
So, like, as a kid, I traveled with my family a bit, and these are the most memorable times for me. So I just simply loved traveling. And when I was 16, I started to travel alone.
When you were
kind
16?
of alone, yeah.
Okay.
Like with 16, I had my first lonely trip, which is super cool, without friends, without family. Yeah, and that was a kind of life-changing experience. And why by bicycle? So I wanted to do kind of gap year with a backpack to Southeast Asia, and then
It's not this journey, right?
no,
it's the
that
one
was
before.
just the general idea that once I want to do this, and like between high school and university, I had no time, no money, whatever, same story. So and then I was like, after university, but I had no money because without job you don't really have money. So I started to work, and then I got just sick of it, and I quit my job, and I was like, decided to do a trip. Then I read a lot of blogs about cyclists, and I was like, you can combine these two things. And then I changed my mind, like not Southeast Asia, but Central Asia, because before I traveled quite a lot to post-Soviet countries, and I just simply like traveling here. I can understand so much more about Hungary and this mindset what Central European people have. So that's why I choose this part of the world, and that's why cycling.
Yeah, in the beginning, starting to travel was just a big desire for adventure, really. I never had any plans or visions to travel for such a long time. I did an internship in Germany when I finished university and traveled like on 3-4 day weekends pretty often, but it was really short trips. And then after that, I thought I would travel for a month or two. Circumstances just kind of lined up. My girlfriend broke up with me at that point, which then put me in a position where I was just sad in Europe with no idea what to do. So keep traveling. It turned out that traveling.
Many of us can relate to that one, not the breakup part, but like sad in Europe and having no fucking clue what to do.
But no, it turned out really well that once I started traveling, I found that I was really happy doing that, and I just continued and found that kind of situation pushed me into traveling, and once I started, then I realized that it was really, really easy to continue. And then so that was hitchhiking a lot, but then cycling started when I met Deti.
Okay.
And
how did you guys get together?
No, I was actually not keen on sharing this trip with anybody, but I don't know. I just met Taylor. He hugged me, like he said, "Hi, I'm the Taylor who you are looking for," because we met with Couchsurfing in Tbilisi.
You met on Couchsurfing?
Yeah.
Like it was a hangout or you hosted?
No, I sent him
hosted
a request that I want to stay there for 2 days, and he was like, "Yeah, you are welcome. There are a bunch of people, but for sure we can find you a place where you can sleep." And then I arrived totally exhausted and hungry. I was sweating the whole day, and then I was like, "Hi, I'm looking for Taylor," and there were so many people like, "Taylor, he's somewhere here." So yeah, finally I found him, and I was like, "Hi, it's me, Daddy. Okay, welcome here. I want to get a shower. Yeah, but first you have to hug me." So I don't know. This is how it started.
Did you choose cycling because of that, Taylor?
I had been thinking about cycling for a while. Like I had it in my mind. I had thought that cycling in Central Asia, especially the Pamir Highway, would be really cool for a long time. And this just provided the opportunity for it when a cyclist showed up at my doorstep. And she ended up saying 2 weeks instead of the 2 days that she requested. And then we had kind of talked about, yeah, maybe I'll get a bicycle. She kept saying, yeah, it would be awesome to have you come along. And I thought, this would be pretty fun. And she left and she cycled to Azerbaijan. And then we had planned to meet about a week later in Baku. I was just going to hitchhike there. But I was in the bazaar in Tbilisi one day and I saw a bicycle that looked pretty nice and asked the price and gave it a little test ride and then decided to buy it and ride it to Tajikistan. And so I bought a bike and 2 days later left Georgia, met Deti in Azerbaijan, and we continued from Baku together.
Yeah.
As you guys can see it, well, upside down.
Oh, you wait.
Flip it around. Oh no, that's even better if you flip it around. I see this 5,000 kilometers. What does that stand for? That
I reached the 5,000 kilometers a couple days before with bicycle. Like the cycling 5,000 kilometers altogether, the travel kilometers might be around 8,000, I guess. Yeah. And I celebrate each kind of mileage with a little sign.
Talk a little bit about traveling alone as a female. What are the advantages and disadvantages?
So first I thought I will make this gap year with my boyfriend, and then I realized like none of my boyfriends wanted to travel. And yeah, and cycling, I don't know, this is also a kind of physical challenge, and yeah, I said like I won't wait anymore for anybody. It's definitely more intense since I have been traveling with Taylor, like not alone, so he is officially the man.
That's Taylor.
Yeah, the man in the group. He speaks Russian and he is a male, so people here just simply appreciate him.
I'm not sure if he can smell the testosterone here, but it's just like
super high.
Although Central Asian men tell me that I'm not a real man because I have long hair. And real men have short hair.
He's more man than me.
At least 20.
So yeah. So since I have been traveling with him, it means people invite us more often because, I don't know, like women here don't really have the last word, so always men have to do this, like inviting people, for example, to stay overnight. This is what women don't do, and as a man, no one will invite me because I'm a girl, like a woman. So yeah, this is how I stayed with a lot of families here in Central Asia. I think if I have traveled alone, it wouldn't have happened. Since he speaks Russian, it's so much easier. Like we have also more intense contact to locals.
Taylor, difficulties you face on the road. Inconvenience, despite that too. Sorry.
She's vegetarian. It's really difficult in Central Asia. I think that's really, in traveling, the biggest difficulty is getting along with your travel partner.
All right.
And this is I think this is the case for most couples and friends traveling together and everybody who's not traveling alone. That just when you're spending 24/7 all the time with somebody else, you will inevitably get annoyed with them.
Yeah.
And so you have to be really good at knowing when to draw the line and when to say, okay, today we do different things. And it's really necessary just for your own mental sanity to spend some time on your own and to go walk around a city on your own. But this can be hard to say, all right, I'm leaving you for a day.
or 3 days.
Yeah, or 3, or
Yeah.
however long is necessary.
Yeah. But then you
it's
have
really necessary for both of your sanity.
Yeah, but then you just stock up so many nice memories, and then you're so happy to share these memories with the other person. So every time we met again, it was like, what happened to you? Wow, it was so intense and so nice. So I really recommend everybody that split up for a couple of days and then just spend some self-time with yourself. First, when we split up, that was his decision, and I was super upset. I really hated him. I was cycling and pushing all my anger into my pedals, like, fuck him. Yeah, and then after a couple of hours, I was like, hey, this is like the start of my trip, like, back in the time. And it is so nice after a couple of hours when your anger is gone. And so since then, I was like, when every time we split up was, yeah, now I have time for myself. I can, I don't know, just doing my speed. I can stop whenever I want to stop. I don't have to wait for him. He doesn't have to wait for me. So there's no pressure on me. Yeah, so first it was hard, and then I realized, hey, this is the best thing what could happen to both of us, really.
What would be your advice to the people who want to start traveling? I don't mean the people who go to Thailand or Cambodia to these like resorts.
My advice,
not as hardcore as you guys, but like, what would be your advice for the beginners after these 4 years, 2 years of straight up traveling?
don't just go places and take selfies and
or shoot videos on the fucking metro.
Shooting videos on the metro is fine, but don't go somewhere and think that you rule the world and just drink a bunch of cheap alcohol and get shit-faced on the streets and
get laid.
Yeah, I'm so cool, I'm getting laid and getting fucked up in another country. Because this is the really shitty kind of tourism.
Yeah.
And so yeah, if you have the desire in yourself to go travel, then really try and open your mind to the world. Meet people who live in the place. Don't just go and drink cheap tequila. Go and meet locals and learn about their lives and become a part of their lives for a day. See what they do from day to day, how they live, how they interact with their families and friends, how they eat. And try to learn some words in the language. Don't just expect everyone to speak your language because you're a tourist and you're paying. Try to learn something in their language. It will really go a long way.
There's the American guy. You're up.
Travel as light as possible. I had so much stuff with me, and then from Baku I sent back home like, I would say like 14 kilograms of stuff. 14, this is a lot.
14?
Around,
wow.
Yeah. So it's so much nicer with less stuff, and you can buy everywhere little things what you could need, and I don't know, you can literally survive with a few stuff and you can buy everywhere, everything.
What kind of stuff did you send back home?
A lot of cosmetics and some warm clothes.
Lots
also.
of makeup. She had like 4 dresses with her.
Yeah. Yeah, so a lot of clothes, also warm clothes, but like in mid of May, starting the desert, were not necessary anymore. Before I used them, but you don't really need like 4, I don't know, fleeces, because one is enough.
I can add that I've learned in my backpack I want to have just enough clothes so that on the coldest day I'm going to experience, if I wear every single item of clothing in my backpack, I'll be just comfortable. And any more than that is too much.
Anything that you would actually like to add before we get to check out?
The hardest point is making the decision that you will quit your normal life and you will go to travel, and like making these little steps towards this trip. This is the hardest part, and then everything is so easy going. So easy to travel.
Look at the smile on her face, the fire is just straight up over there.
I'd say there's a million different possible ways to live your life. Don't be stuck on one of them. If you're not satisfied with how your life is in the moment, you can do something about it. You can change it. You can do something different. So don't be stuck in the vision that there's only one way to live. Traveling is definitely not for everybody. If you have in yourself the strong desire to travel, then you absolutely can. But it's not for everybody. But yeah, for those who really do want to travel, who really are interested in that adventure, then you can do it. Don't make excuses for yourself. Rather than making excuses to stay at your desk job, think about how you can travel better. Rather than, instead of just booking an all-inclusive tour, think about how can I go and actually make a good impression and make a difference. And how can I go and meet local people who have never seen a foreigner before in their life and give them a better outlook on the world.
Awesome.
That's how you can make a really positive impact as a traveler.
Thank you so much, guys, for being here. This was like really insightful, and I'm really glad that finally we could pull the interview where I was able to record the voice and a picture with that teeth included. Guys, I don't know what to say. Like, guys, leave your comments. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Would you travel by bicycle like Detti does, or Taylor style, more like hitchhiking, this dirtbag backpacking? May end up cycling as well. Sometimes cycling. Yeah, exactly. Just on and off. But nevertheless, guys, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet. Press that like button if you dig those guys. Thank you so much for being here. All the best for your journey.
Yeah, thank you for shooting the video. Пока!
Awesome.
До свидания.
До свидания.
My thought
Was that it? I forced you to hug me?
Yeah.
I hug raped you and then you liked me?
Yeah, and I was like, but I'm so sweaty and smelly, and you were like, doesn't matter, hug me, hug me.
You make me sound like a rapist.
You are a man, you have to be a rapist.